1 year ago in her debut season. How about a welcome back, Corey Younghan?
Thank you so much. You're too good to me, Rich. Thank you.
Hey, you're good to us. We're good to you.
It's so good to see you guys. Excited to be back for year 2. Yeah, to reiterate, Rich's sentiment, if you guys have questions, which I'm sure you do, our streamers out there, drop those in the comments so we can get them answered by Coach.
Well, we look forward to that. Should be a lot of fun this week in Army football. When we come back, though, our special guest and someone who I know was part of, and it's funny. People ask me what's my favorite Army football moment, right? And you look at the wins. It's like picking between kids, right? All the great wins, Commander-in-Chief's trophies, but nothing will ever be like that 2016 Army-Navy victory. And we got a special player, someone very special to this program, who was part of that team.
We do, and we're going to enjoy talking to him and kind of reliving those moments from the 2016 game.
I could talk about it all day. I could talk about the 20. I could take you from that morning when I woke up through the night. What a special game. Captain Elijah St. Hilaire, our running back, did a lot of things for your team that year, and very, very valuable on special teams in the backfield. And hey, he's from North Jersey, so he's got to be a great guy, right?
And he's still contributing to the program. He's here at West Point and every day working hard to help this brotherhood and the legacy he left and help it carry on.
West Point class of 2017, Elijah St. Hilaire will be our special guest coming up when we come back on This Week in Army Football, live from the Cadet First Class Club at West Point, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow, my possibilities are endless. West Point, where leaders are made.
Till I can't fight no more! Till I can't fight no more! And when I can't fight no more! And when I can't fight no more! I'm gonna lie down! I'm gonna lie down! And bleed a while! Bleed a while! Army! I will fight! I will fight! Get up! I will get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Fight some more! Hey, fight some more!
He's gonna go the distance. Tyrell Robinson, the cannon fires. And it's intercepted by Army.
Last of the heart. You feel it?
Touchdown. Army continues the onslaught. Army bringing pressure. Oh, get another sack pass broken up. Army wins. The Black Knights defeat Air Force in overtime. The kick is good. Army wins the 2021 Armed Forces Bowl on the final play of the game.
Our main focus as the mob this year is really just working to keep developing our fundamentals. We do that period 1 all the way until our competition periods with the defense, continuing to increase depth as well across our entire offensive line. It takes reps, watching it on film and then going out and working on something little, and can't be a good offensive lineman in a day, so it takes that time. We pride ourselves on being very versatile on the offensive line and being able to mix and match different combinations, and just having that kind of gives us a little bit of an edge. I'm as comfortable with the tackles working with them as the guards are, and we have that rhythm and that chemistry on offense. Pretty much every opportunity we have the chance, we hang out with each other and we joke around, and we want to see each other succeed, and that's why we compete so hard against each other as well.
Safety room's been working on a lot this fall. Specifically, we've been working on pulling up the young guys because the stronger our room is as a whole, the better our team will be, because we have this next up mentality. You never know what's going to happen. So really just pouring into the young guys and making sure that we all know what we're supposed to do and we're able to command our defense. We do a lot together. I think that's what makes our group the group that it is. During the summer, we would meet just with the safeties, just no coaches, just safeties. We would pick out different film to watch and things to do. That's what makes us different. Coach Sloan's a great coach. He was defensive coordinator before he got here. Just able to pick his brain. One time I sat in the meeting with Coach Woody and him, and I just sat there and listened. And just to see them go back and forth and talk scheme, that was amazing.
And welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club This Week in Army Football. And Broadway's back at Eisenhower Hall Theater, the Hudson Valley's premier performing arts center. Tickets go on sale soon. For updated season info and ticket sales, visit icall.com. That's icall.com. Back on This Week in Army Football, Rich Demarco joined by Army football coach Jeff Monken. Black Knights opening up 2022 on the road at Coastal Carolina on Saturday. Time now for our special guest. We already teased it, gave him a big build-up. And, I'm supposed to be neutral here. One of my favorites to ever put on an Army football uniform. This is a special guy we're talking to. Class of 2017, part of the 2016 Army football team, which defeated Navy down in Baltimore. How about it? This Week in Army Football, welcome Captain Elijah St. Hilaire. Welcome.
Thanks, Rich. North Jersey love.
North Jersey. That's what I am saying. And
Fort Lee. Every
Right
time
there.
I go over the George Washington Bridge, I think Elijah St. Hilaire.
The Bridgeman. The
Right
Bridgeman.
there, right
Fort
there.
Lee Bridgeman. So, Elijah, first of all, welcome to the show. And I know you're back here at West Point. Just what is it like to be back here?
First off, thank you. Thank you, Coach Monken, for allowing me to be here. But it's amazing, being around family, being back home, but also being back at West Point and around Army football. It's definitely an opportunity you don't get too often in the Army, to be close to your family and friends that you grew up with. But I'm loving each moment of it and glad to catch Army football games on Saturdays.
So let's start out. Let's talk 2016 Army-Navy game, because I'm going to want to talk about it.
Ooh.
So, Elijah, you played so many roles for this team. You were such a leader. How often do you think about that game and that moment?
Probably every day.
How about that, Jeff? Look at the memories that are made.
That's great. That's
Every
great.
day.
And he should. He should.
So your career, and I want to get into, you were recruited by a different coaching staff. Jeff Monken comes in, and maybe a little back and forth between you and Coach. Tell me the first day you met Jeff Monken, what the message was, and what was your reaction?
Oh, the first day I met Coach Monken, the emphasis was the little things. Coach Monken is the type of person that'll walk on the field, pick up every piece of garbage on there. He was going to make sure his team does the same type of thing. And that's what, we ended up doing. That's why we got close, and that's why Army's winning football games now. So I remember the first time Coach Monken was out there, he was like, hey, these lockers aren't in SOP. Make sure you get your lockers in SOP. SOP is standard operating procedures. We did just that. And then we thought it was about lockers, but it was always about the football in the game. So making sure you emphasize that, picking up trash, leaving things how you found it. That's the type of person that he was, and that's literally the biggest thing that I carried with me into the Army, treating my soldiers the same way, make sure they emphasize all the little things that we had to do each day.
Jeff, what kind of impression did Eli, as he goes by, made on you?
Just a team guy. He never, not the entire time he played for us, did he ever want to talk about himself or his own, personal accolades or contributions. He was very humble. He wanted to do anything he could to help our team, whether it was playing slot back or running down on a kickoff or covering a punt or playing on the scout team or whatever we asked of him, he was going to do it, and he was going to do it to the best of his ability. And he was beloved by his teammates because he was the same way with them, very unselfish. And then he ended up playing a lot of football for us and helping us win a lot of football games.
Elijah, and there's I often think about this and other players that have come on, former players, officers now in the U.S. Army that played on that 2016 team that were older players, senior players, junior players in that team. When was the moment where this was from a rebuilding program and what Jeff Monken came in to rebuild and get back on track? When did it go from, believing it to knowing it was happening?
I think it was almost immediately going into my sophomore year. Mat drills was it. Mat drills, it was one of those things that forced us to rely upon each other. It was one of those things that you had to be accountable for your teammate. And that accountability, I'm sure Coach remembers the first day. You could do mat drills in 13 periods. We took about 40-something. So getting it down from 40-something to 13 was all about accountability, making sure every player that's on there is doing every drill the best that they can with the effort that they can. So that was it. Knowing that we were able to go from a team that was doing mat drills in 47 periods, getting it down to 13 periods. It was like, all right, let's take this and take it through the season. I think we carried that same strength and effort through the season as well.
And Jeff, there's an incentive now if the team gets it done, right? In 13 periods, it can only be a couple days of mat drills.
That's right.
How did Eli's team?
As they say, the core has.
That's right. So they had to pave the way, and that's usually the case. The first teams kind of gotta pave the way for the ones to follow, and that team did. And when he talks about that first day and how hard our guys worked and what we put them through, and I don't know that anybody can really prepare themselves for that. It was cold and icy, and we had those guys out there prior to 6 a.m. and working as hard as maybe they've ever worked. And a lot of guys, frankly, just said, this isn't for me. Mm-hmm. And the strong survived and stuck around, and they're the ones that laid the foundation for this program, and we wouldn't be where we are as a program right now had it not been for that first team and those guys and the effort they put into, including Elijah and all his teammates.
Elijah, you talk about being from North Jersey, right? That's how we let it off. What did it mean, and what did it mean to your family, your friends, that community, to be playing football at West Point, a place as prestigious as West Point, but also so close to where you grew up and where you lived?
It was very special. I'll be completely honest. I didn't know much about West Point until my senior year of high school football. I was actually committed to Akron before I decommitted to come here, and that was the reason that I came here. It was the prestige. It was all the little things, the cadets that were welcoming, the mission of West Point, and there's life after football. So West Point gave me an opportunity to pursue life after football. Go on into a great career in the military, and also lead people. So my family was extremely proud of that. Being that we're 45 minutes away, I had that helicopter mom who would always come to love it, come visit me and see Trophy Point. But I was appreciative of it because my family got to see me not only play football at the D1 level, but also be at one of the greatest institutions in the country.
I'll never forget 2016 November, the game in San Antonio against Notre Dame. So I get up early the next morning, because that was an afternoon game, early the next morning to go to the Alamo, right? I have to tour the Alamo whenever I'm in San Antonio. And I get there, and there must be about 5 to 10 people walking around with Army football jerseys and St. Hilaire on the back of the jersey. That was a family affair, that trip.
And that's the St. Hilaire fan club right now.
They're like that every game.
Everywhere we go. We're trying to be everywhere. We're always rallying. My brother played. My little brother's playing right now. We got jerseys for days to make sure that, family is everything, and we're trying to make sure we're out there to support.
Elijah, so your journey in the Army, right here, it's fall of 2022. Where have you, found yourself in the U.S. Army? What are you looking at doing in the future?
Yes, so upon graduation, I commissioned as an infantry officer. So first stop was Fort Benning, Georgia. Did some time, did BOLIC over there, a basic officer's leadership course. And after that, I found myself at Fort Irwin, which I'm not going to lie. My first time I heard I was going, I wasn't too fond of it. middle of the desert, but the leadership there, the people around me, and the chance to lead soldiers, as a platoon leader, I was extremely thankful for that time. Learned a lot. Applied to come back here as a diversity outreach officer and serve, the mission of the Corps, bringing more candidates into, the United States Military Academy, and currently serving as an operations officer here at West Point. I am looking to transition soon and hoping to go into, sports operations or marketing, but I couldn't be more thankful to be around a great team, working with the ODIA team here as well, and learn a whole bunch of things about, how Army West Point gets things done on the football field and across the athletics in here at West Point.
Jeff, that's a leader for you right there.
Amen.
Elijah, now I know you're going to be around on more shows this year. This isn't just a one-time thing, right? I'm putting you on the spot, okay? We expect to see you back here, not every week, but maybe, saying hi in a couple weeks or something.
I would love to. The chance to be my coach, Rich, my North Jersey guy right here. It'll always be a great opportunity for me.
Well, Captain St. Hilaire, we appreciate the time, and congratulations on all you've accomplished, not only on the football field as a cadet and as an officer. And hey, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Our special guest, Captain Elijah St. Hilaire, Army West Point football player, West Point class of 2017. When we come back, it's your turn. Your questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken here on This Week at Army Football, live from the Cadet First Class Club at West Point, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Execution work, at corner, it's all about the little things, and the smallest detail gone wrong can get you beat. You're on a play-by-play basis, so you have to maintain that confidence throughout the entire game. So you let yourself get down, you can get beat the next play. So always having that confidence, and that's just something you build with experience. Definitely being a corner here, you get the best of both worlds. I mean, at practice, you're facing our offense, so it's definitely really physical. They also can pass the ball, so I feel like having that differentiation of pass and run on a daily basis makes it really helpful for the position. We have Bo, Isaiah, Dalen, Cam Jones, we all have good experience on the field, and all of us can go on the field at any time to make those plays. So I just feel like having that feeling in the room and everybody's confident is a real game changer at corner.
I think there's always a pride pretty much in all of football and being the inside linebackers. It's a tough position. You have to know a lot. You have to be very smart, but also make big hits, especially here at West Point, and just being a tough group of linebackers and get the job done. We got Coastal first game, and so just kind of getting down a lot of the run reads, correct footwork, just stuff that makes you like a good linebacker down the road, not just for this game. I think we got a lot of depth this year. We got a lot of guys who can play in the game. In terms of just kind of like filling that void that Eric left, just building confidence and trying to be the best that we can be. I know Coach Woody does a really good job of making it where he can scheme the defense where everybody can play a role, and as long as you do your job to the best of your ability, our defense will succeed. So I was always the guy asking questions, looking for advice from the older guys. It's nice helping the other guys with their assignments, but it helps me solidify those assignments in my mind while I'm constantly helping other guys with theirs too.
I think it all starts in practice. To get ready for the season, you have to practice really well and watch a lot of film and really prepare because, that's what the other team's doing.
Coach Worley always talks about being elite at the little things, so whether it's the type of footwork we take, whether it's accuracy, whether it's making the right read, finding one thing that we worked on at practice and didn't look so good on, and try to correct that each day.
Playing quarterback at Army is very unique. It's physically demanding, mentally demanding.
It's just a legacy. It's bigger than us. We're representing so many soldiers, representing the line of great quarterbacks that played before us, like Ahmad Bradshaw, Kelvin Hopkins, Jabari Laws, Christian Anderson, Trent Stillman, AJ Sher, just a lot of guys that came before us that set really good legacy, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
We've been together for 4 years now, all of us. TT's been here an extra year, and I think just that camaraderie and very comfortable with each other. We know what each other can do.
This summer we really gelled as a team on and off the field, and I think that building that camaraderie helped on the field. But our player-led practices, our workouts, and things like that, I feel like really helped us in transition to fall camp and our practices now.
Welcome back. This week in Army football, Broadway's back at Eisenhower Hall Theater, the Hudson Valley's premier performing arts center. Tickets going on sale soon. For updated season info and ticket sales, visit ikehall.com. That's ikehall.com. And Army West Point Athletics would like to thank its restaurant and tavern partners, Brothers Barbecue and O'Toole's Pub. Check out the restaurant and tavern partners portion of GoArmyWestPoint.com for more information. Support those who support the core. Great talking with Eli. And what a... players, they have a lot of different roles, and that's someone that embraced his role and such a valuable member on and off the field in the locker room for that 2016 team.
Absolutely. He's a terrific player, very talented, and made a big difference in our program turning around, and that's both what he did on and off the field.
So time now for our question segment, and I'll it just feels like we're back 100%. Cove 2020 season, we were in Crest Hall last year. It was hit or miss, and you know how you're really, really back is when you have your first question of the show, first question of the season. And it's Jerry from Fish.
Rich, I have looked forward to this since last year. This is the thing I look forward to in a show. I love seeing Jerry. He's so loyal here every week, and looking forward to the question.
And I am so happy to see him. So without further ado.
Coach, do you recruit a quarterback every year?
We do. We actually recruit more than one quarterback every year, and I'm glad that we do. And It gives us enough guys in the program to develop, and oftentimes those guys end up playing other positions for us. And so when you watch a high school quarterback now, especially now in today's football world, they're very athletic. Guys are carrying the ball on run plays, and they're throwing RPOs, and they're asked to do a lot more than just stand back there and be a passer or hand it off to the running back. And so we get really good athletes, and those guys end up being our quarterbacks. Sometimes they play slot or receiver or corner or safety, but we bring in multiple quarterbacks every year, and I'm glad we did. Like I said, we got 3 seniors, and those guys are at the top of the depth chart right now. All capable, Jerry. Yep, all good players. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Jerry, for the question. And just look at the example you gave. Look, Maurice Ballon, right? He's closing out a game 2 years ago, right? You put him in a game, and now he's going to see time in your slot back rotation.
He is, and he's going to do a really good job. He's really embraced that opportunity to play slot. Brahim Murphy is another high school quarterback who's playing slot. So those guys are good athletes, and they are. We find them to be very versatile, guys that can cover kicks and guys that can return kicks and those kinds of things. So hopefully it'll keep rolling like we've had it here in the past.
And you try to learn something new every day. Dean Darling and I, we talk with the coordinators, and Dean, the very, very well prepared color commentator we have on the broadcast. Shane Buckingham was a quarterback in high school.
Shane Buckingham was a high school quarterback who we thought could be a tight end, obviously a big, long guy, and now he's starting at offensive tackle. So he has really transformed his body. Bo Lombardi, who's another offensive tackle, was a high school quarterback. Brother was the quarterback at Michigan State, and then last year was the quarterback for Northern Illinois. Those guys are good athletes, and it really is helping them be good players on the offensive line right now.
You mentioned Tyler, Cade Ballard, and Jamel Jones. Someone getting snaps in the preseason and during your scrimmages. Bryson Daly, someone you're very high on as well.
I am. He's a really strong, powerful kid. He's going to be a good quarterback. He's our quarterback of the future for sure. But he's behind 3 seniors right now. But been very pleased with him in preseason camp. If he was our quarterback tomorrow, we would feel very good about about where we're at offensively.
And back to Corey for our next question for Coach.
Okay, Coach. Our first question is from Corey Elich. He said, Coach, coming into your 9th season at West Point, how has your approach to coaching changed, and what are you still trying to work on?
We try to get better every day at the fundamentals. It's something that we've got to never be complacent about at West Point. So constantly I'm harping, as Elijah had said, on the little things. But I probably changed over those 9 years, just understanding West Point, our players, what I can expect from them on a daily basis, and they've probably learned me too. They know what they can expect from me, but they probably would laugh if they heard me say this, but I'm probably a lot more patient with them now than I was when I got here 9 years ago. But you just learn. You learn what your team needs, and sometimes I need to change from week to week or from season to season, just depending on the personality of our team.
Talking about how your coaching might have changed, how does the annual clarification, limitation of blocks below the knees change how you coach?
So that rule has that rule's evolved over several years.
Some might say devolved.
Yeah. I think there's been a lot of people in college football have been after that rule for a long time, and there's people quietly having a drink tonight celebrating that we can't block below the waist anymore on the perimeter. But we just roll with the punches, and we just change our fundamentals and techniques based on the rules, and we've had to do that over the course of time. There's the cut block rule. You used to be able to go in back toward the ball as long as you were beyond 5 yards, and then it moved to 10 yards, and then you couldn't block back toward the ball or all below the waist, and then it went to you had to be going toward your goal line or your sideline, and now it is where it is now. You can pretty much cut block in the box with the linemen and the stationary backs, and that's it. So we've just changed kind of how we coach those plays and those blocks in the perimeter, and we're going to find out Saturday if it makes a difference or not.
Army at Coastal Carolina, Saturday, 7 o'clock kick time, airtime across the Army Sports Network at 5 o'clock with the Army Football Tailgate Show. Corey, next question. We'll continue the segment. Just wanted to, Coach is talking about 7 o'clock on Saturday night, so it's Army at Coastal. Scott Stadium, so it's going to be Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina, and teal turf, right?
Teal turf and sold out. How about
teal
that?
Out.
Yep.
Teal out. Next question for Coach.
All right, Coach. This one is from Tom Bossman. He said, you return a very experienced second year. How are they doing preseason, and what are your expectations for their role in a strong defense this season?
That was the secondary?
Second year, like second year of sophomore years, I guess.
Got it. Yes, gotcha. We do. We had some guys that played as freshmen last year. I think the longer I've been here, the fewer freshmen have played. But there's just some guys that you can't avoid it. They're good players, and they got to get in the game because they have a chance to affect the game in a positive way. And I'm really pleased with the seniors that we have. We've got guys that are good leaders, and we've got some guys in key positions, the center and the quarterback, and guys like Jacoby Buchanan and Tyson Riley and T-Rob that have been around a long time. But sprinkled in there are guys that are really going to get their first starts and their first game experience outside of special teams. But I like where we're at. We got guys on both sides of the ball that are going to contribute on Saturday or be getting their name called for the first time. But that's what's exciting about college football. Each year it changes. We're a new team, and I'm anxious, like everybody else, to find out really what we got.
Great question, and talk about replacing players. Eric Smith, that linebacker spot has been so important for you over the years. How do you feel at that spot going into this year?
I like that group of guys. Coach Braswell does a really good job coaching them, and Coach Woody, the scheme that he has and how he makes it easy to learn, and for our guys to be able to execute that scheme, though it's complex, he makes it very simple. And it allows guys to grow up in the program and be able to step in when a guy like Eric Smith graduates, a guy like John Radigan graduates. So I feel really good about that position. Calvin Crummy, Calvin Crummy, Spencer Jones, Peyton Hampton, Leo Lowen. Who else?
Cole Mabry we moved in there.
Camden O'Gara. I mean, I got a lot of guys that have been in our program, played special teams. Brett Jarena,
player.
Very physical, sudden player. So there's some guys there that I'm really excited about. Just they don't have as much experience as Eric had, so there's a learning curve there. But some older guys like Peyton Hampton and a guy like Camden O'Gara and Spencer Jones, they've had enough reps in practice that I think they're going to be ready to go.
Army at Coastal Carolina on Saturday night, 7 o'clock from Conway, South Carolina. We will have more of your questions on This Week in Army Football coming up in just a moment right here at the Cadet First Class Club on Facebook Live, on YouTube, on the Army Sports Network, the Varsity Network, back in just a moment on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Defeat Air Force in overtime, 21-14.
Save made by Abrick. Abrick, for the second time this season, shuts out AIC.
Main Army 2.1 left in regulation. Kate Murray inbounds, chucks up this race. Too long, but that's okay, because she's got a friend in Sabrina Hunter.
Number 6, college hoops, Loyola and Army. Look at Isaiah Caldwell just coming through, Cadet.
Feel it with a hat trick. Scott! Guess who? Guess who?
Snap, ball is down, kick is up, plenty of distance. The kick is good. Army wins the 2021 Armed Forces Bowl on the final play of the game. The Black Knights come back from 27 down in the first half and win it in overtime over Navy. One of the great comebacks in Army men's basketball history.
And they storm the court. The Cora Cadets create bedlam as Missy Traversi gets her first ever win in the rivalry.
Army, the Patriot League champions for the 4th consecutive season.
As we cross the 80-minute mark, the final whistle sounds. Army are your national champions.
Wow, look at that field. Wow.
And welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club. This week in Army football, Broadway's back at Eisenhower Hall Theater, the Hudson Valley's premier performing arts center. Tickets go on sale soon. The updated season info and ticket sales. Visit icall.com. That's icall.com. And Army football is brought to you by West Point Family and MWR. FMWR offers horse sporting, golfing, skiing, catering, camping, and many more activities and programs. Visit westpoint.armymwr.com for more information. Rich Demarco back with Army head coach Jeff Monken this week in Army football. And I cannot believe we have gotten now to the fourth segment of the show without mentioning your two fine captains for 2022. It's been a trend, almost a two-year captain carrying over. Marquel Broughton joined by Connor Bishop. That is a great duo leading your team.
Both great captains. They're doing a tremendous job with the team, and they have all throughout the offseason, even before they were voted captain, and obviously Marquel having been voted captain as a junior, but they have really taken the reins of this team and provide the positive leadership that we need and hold everybody accountable. And there's another group of leaders along with them on the leadership council that they really lead and get those guys to get the message out that we're trying to share with the rest of the locker room. And it's really hard to be a captain. It's hard in the same class as you that you came in and went through Beast Barracks with and you've grown up with, and now you've got to be the one to hold them accountable, and that's not easy. But for someone who's a leader, they're courageous enough to do that, and for everybody else realizing that it's not about anything other than their role and what they need to do to make the team their best, and nobody does it better than these two guys. They're really strong captains, and I'm glad they're at the top.
Connor Bishop, Marquel Broughton, your 2022 Army football captains. Corey Younghans, we have more questions for Coach Monken.
So switching gears to our Coastal game on Saturday, it's a two-part question here. So the first part is from Anthony John. He said, Coach, we're no stranger to NFL caliber quarterbacks, and from previous years, what's going to be the main focus in preparing for Grayson McCall and his style of offense? And then secondarily, from Steve Jawback, he said, is Army going to be playing 5 DBs to stop Coastal's passing game?
Grayson McCall is a tremendous football player, very talented, and I don't think there's any question. If he stays healthy, he's going to play in the NFL. And he probably could have gone to the NFL after last season, the kind of season that he had. He's thrown 53 touchdown passes in 2 years. Just an incredible player in their system. But he could play in a lot of systems. He could go to a lot of Power 5 schools and be the starting quarterback and be just as successful. He's a strong runner. He's a really good thrower. So much of their passing game is built off of their run game, very much like us. And they get defenders into one-on-one matchups. And he throws a great ball. He made some throws last year that there's not many quarterbacks in the country could make, and that's what makes him scary. There'll be times where we play with 5 DBs and times where we play with 4 and times where we play with 6. It just depends on the situation, and I think everybody in college football has those packages of personnel like we do, and it'll be dictated, a lot about on what they're doing and what the situation is.
When I think of Coastal Carolina, I think of what Joe Moglia, the former CEO of TD Ameritrade, who ended up getting into coaching in later years for a coach and ended up guiding that program. But really, the Jamie Chadwell era as head coach of Coastal Carolina during that 2020, the COVID season, when, not that there wasn't a whole lot going on, but you had games, there weren't fans. I was watching a ton of football, especially on replay and DVR, and they made quite a name for themselves. And that game against BYU, right, in November, that was on about 2 days' notice, and they beat BYU. That was some event.
That was something, and BYU traveled to Conway, and it was a great battle. In fact, BYU had that ball all the way down to the 1-yard line when time expired, and Coach Moglia hired Jamie Chadwell. And I remember when Jamie was considering taking that job, I actually talked to him on the phone. And I think he was thinking about being a head coach or going there as a coordinator, and I wish I'd have strongly suggested he stay as a head coach at Charleston Southern because he has done a great job with Coastal Carolina. We play him on Saturday night, and they're going to be a handful. But much respect for what they've built.
He's Jeff Monken. I'm Rich Demarco here on This Week at Army Football. We will have our final segment. One more round of questions for Jeff Monken. Army at Coastal Carolina coming up on Saturday night. We're back in just a moment right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow, my possibilities are endless. West Point, where leaders are made.
Till I can't fight no more! Till I can't fight no more! And when I can't fight no more! When I can't fight no more! I'm gonna lie down! I'm gonna lie down! And bleed a while! Bleed a while! Army! I will fight! I will fight! Get up! I will get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Fight some more! Fight some more!
He's gonna go the distance. Tyrell Robinson, the cannon fires. And it's intercepted by Army. Last of the heart. You feel it? Touchdown. Army continues the onslaught. Army bringing pressure. Oh, get another saddle pass broken up. Army wins. The Black Knights defeat Air Force in overtime. The kick is good. Army wins the 2021 Armed Forces Bowl on the final play of the game.
Our main focus as the mob this year is really just working to keep developing our fundamentals. We do that period one all the way until our competition periods with the defense, continuing to increase depth as well across our entire offensive line. It takes reps, watching it on film and then going out and working on something little. And you can't be a good offensive lineman in a day, so it takes that time. We pride ourselves on being very versatile on the offensive line and, being able to mix and match different combinations, and just having that kind of gives us a little bit of an edge. I'm as comfortable with the tackles working with them as the guards are, and we have that rhythm and that chemistry on offense. Pretty much every opportunity we have the chance, we hang out with each other and we joke around, and we want to see each other succeed, and that's why we compete so hard against each other as well.
The safety room's been working on a lot this fall. Specifically, we've been working on pulling up the young guys, because the stronger our room is as a whole, the better our team will be, because we have this next up mentality. You never know what's going to happen, so really just pouring into the young guys and making sure that we all know what we're supposed to do and we're able to command our defense. We do a lot together. I think that's what makes our group the group that it is. During the summer, we would meet just with the safeties, just no coaches, just safeties. We would pick out different film to watch and things to do. That's what makes us different. Coach Sloan's a great coach. He was defensive coordinator before he got here. Just able to pick his brain. One time I sat in the meeting with Coach Woody and him, and I just sat there and listened. And just to see them go back and forth and talk scheme, that was amazing.
And welcome back one more time to This Week in Army Football opening show. I'll tell you what, Jeff, this goes by so quickly each and every week.
It does. At the break, we're talking about the cadets lined up here coming in to enjoy the First Tee Club. So much respect for these guys waiting in line like that. So I'm glad they're here. Love seeing these guys come in here.
And that was a big deal for you. You want to go back to when you started and we were talking about this coaches show and everything. It was important for you to be somewhere where the cadets were going to be. I'll never forget that first meeting.
Yep, and it's good. It's great. It's great. We got our folks that come in every week, and we got our regulars. But when the cadets come in, it just livens up even that much more. Get that youth in here.
Everything we do is for cadets.
Yep.
That's the mission.
Yep.
Right. So a couple things. We're here every Thursday of game week. So every Thursday, 7 o'clock. With a couple of exceptions, which we'll get to. Of course, we'll be back next Thursday prior to the UTSA game. There are 3 shows. We're not here on Thursdays. Air Force Week, Navy Week will be Wednesday nights because of team departures on Thursday. And for the UMass game, that's Thanksgiving week, we'll do it on Tuesday night to avoid the Wednesday night, which is essentially like the holiday. And, of course, then Thanksgiving. So looking forward to another season. I'll tell you, Elijah was a great guest tonight.
He was.
I tell you, I could talk to him all night.
He could be your co-host.
He could. Maybe. You never know. He's got to come back to more shows though. So time for a couple more questions. Back to Corey, who's scouring Facebook Live for all of them.
All right, this one is from Dylan from Minneapolis. He wants to know, how do you recruit effectively with NIL restrictions?
So NIL is we're unaffected by it. Our guys, because they're at West Point, they are cadets, and they are under the government umbrella. They can't accept another job or accept payment for another job. So we don't have to deal with it. It's one of the nice things. There are a lot of coaches that are losing sleep and have a lot of headaches over NIL, both with their current roster as well as the guys that they're recruiting. I mean, some of the coaches in college football, the first thing they have to talk about with a prospect is NIL, not the education, the facilities, the opportunities, the schedule. That's an afterthought. The first conversation is NIL, and I'm glad we don't have to have those conversations right now. We can still talk about this tremendous institution, the opportunities after graduation, the opportunity to represent the United States Army and this nation in this uniform and play Army football, and it's fun to recruit that way. So who knows? We'll see what happens and what the future holds with NIL for West Point.
Thank you for the question. Jeff, and there's been a trend over the past several years in sending players to the NFL from West Point. One of them, Brett Toth. His birthday's today, actually. Happy birthday, Brett.
That's no doubt. Happy birthday to him. I didn't realize that.
Happened to be Facebook friends with him and popped up.
Outstanding. That's good.
But so, and you mentioned NIL, and there's so much more to it. Now, I want to go back to Andre Carter just for a moment, because he's someone, he can play for a lot of teams when you look across the country and everything. Though it takes a special person to understand the mission. Andre Carter, first round pick, all these things. Andre Carter didn't come to West Point to necessarily have an NFL career. He came to better himself through football and his education and leadership. And to me, that's almost the right way and the right reasons to progress to a point where he has.
Oh, as everybody does. And I think our players, our students, all of the cadets that come to school here, they see well beyond their college years, and it's not just about the experience, it's about the opportunities and becoming the best version of themselves, becoming the best leaders that they can. That's why Andre Carter came here. But he also came here to play football, and that's okay. He doesn't have to apologize for that. And he's become an outstanding player, one of the best in the nation in his position. And hopefully he'll have an opportunity to continue to play. And when he does that, he represents everybody at this institution. He represents every soldier in the United States Army. And that is a source of pride for all of us, as it should be.
It's such a beautiful thing. and you look at Alejandro Villanueva retiring after a decorated career, and all the positive publicity and what you can do from West Point. And again, it's one of the many beautiful things.
Well,
about
I can
being
assure you
here
that
at West Point.
Andre's looking forward to hopefully playing more football, but he's looking forward as much as anybody to an Army career. So I'm proud of him for that.
Jeff, I can't believe we're to the end of tonight's show. It comes out of nowhere.
Let's go get him on Saturday night.
Good luck on
Thank
Saturday.
you.
That's Army head coach Jeff Monken. It is Army at Coastal Carolina on Saturday night, 7 o'clock. This broadcast, an exclusive presentation of Army West Point Sports Properties, a property of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the United States Military Academy at West Point. This broadcast copyrighted, and any rebroadcast or reuse of this presentation without the express written consent of the Academy and Army West Point Sports Properties is prohibited. The general manager of Army West Point Sports Properties is Steve Tucker. Would like to thank Ryan, Skyler, and Peter keeping us there, along with Jimmy on the air. Elijah St. Hilaire, our special guest. For Corey Younghands, Army head coach Jeff Monken, Rich Demarco saying so long.